Now, I have a lot of stories, and they're all true. But I picked one particular story I want to talk about, and that includes a couple of my friends. One is Tommy, the other one is Joey. It kind of rhymes, Tommy and Joey. But both of them were kind of, well, Joey was my best friend, and Tommy was like, even though he was a little older than me, he was like my kid brother. I loved him very, very much. We took martial arts together. We were together for a very long time. As a matter of fact, we were kids. We went to Japan. Me and Joey went there first. I was 17. Joey was 18. And Tommy was, I think, also a year older than me. He was 18. And we all went to Japan. We were there for about 3 months. Uh, Joey left first. He couldn't take it because he really wasn't a karate guy. He just came along for the ride. But Tommy and I, we were in the martial arts really very deep into it. We loved it. So this is basically about one of my best memories. Even though I've done a lot of things in my life, this is one of my best memories. We went into this place. We worked out for 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the evening. We took a lunch break in between. We worked out like there was no tomorrow. We were on top of the world as far as concerned, as far as I'm concerned, shape wise. We were good. We were really, really, really good. But the story is more interesting to understand how everything started. So one good day, Joey and I, we decided to go to Japan. But that was before we wanted to go to Vietnam. But I'm not going to get into that because that's really another story that I will tell you about. Let's just pick it up from we decided to go from the Navy Yard to Manhattan to the Japanese consulate. We went to get all the information about Japan, what we had to do, what documents we needed, and just about everything we had, all the steps. Okay, so we went through all that. We got ready. It took us maybe 2-3 months to get ready with our paperwork and put our business in order, whatever business we had. We were young. So it came time to fly. So we did. My karate teacher and some of our students, or his students, they all wished us luck. They even took us to the airport. And my teacher, I was a black belt. I was 17 years old, I was a black belt. But I was a black belt before that. So we all went down to the airport. We said goodbye. And I had a number of his teacher from Japan, Yamamoto, which I'll talk about him as well. So now we start our trip. This trip was forever. We wound up in Anchorage. From Anchorage, I don't know how many hours we stayed there. We flew to Tokyo. 27, 28, 30 hours. It was like unbelievable. I think we left let's say on a Sunday, we arrived there on a Sunday. At the time was weird. So now we arrived in Tokyo. It was at night. We had this phone number of this karate teacher. We had an address. So we got into a taxi. Luckily enough, somebody spoke English. I don't remember exactly how that happened, but they took us to the location. Now, understand, we were exhausted from the flight. We were just looking to get to a place, just settle down and relax until next day. But when we got to this karate school, they were having a class, as a matter of fact. So we walked in, we introduced ourselves. There was somebody that spoke English. We told them where we were coming from and who we wanted to see. And they knew all about us going there, and they knew why we were there. But Yamamoto wasn't there. One of his top students was there. So he invited us to join the class. Now, in the middle of talking, introducing ourselves, they already had called some of the old timers. Remember, this was over 49 years ago. So Americans over there were like a novelty. So they wanted to come and see this American, meaning me, what he was bringing. Not only what he was bringing, they wanted to see how much lumps they could give me. Remember, martial art was a Japanese thing. It was not an American thing. So they were going to show the little guy could beat up the big guy. My friend Joey right away started in, oh man, you walked into a deal here. These guys are, you know, they invented the art and they're going to have a party with you. I said, you know, Joey, thank you for the confidence, you know, but I think I'll handle this. So we put on our uniforms. Of course, we didn't go nowhere with the uniform, without a uniform. And we got ready to join the class. But instead of having a full class, like stretching out, going through the basics, and you know that kind of stuff, they went right to kumite. In other words, fighting. So of course I had to accept. I can't say no. So the old timers were sitting on the side. They were watching this back and forth, me and this translator. So I agreed to fight. So the main teacher gets a student out of the class and he puts him in the middle of the mat. But he was a white belt. And I felt insulted. I felt insulted because I'm a black belt and you're going to insult me with a white belt? But I didn't say that to him. That's how I felt. But I went like this. You know, this is international language. You don't have to speak anything. You got to do this. It's no. And I went like this. And then I pointed my finger to him. That's the worst thing you could do. Point the finger. You know how that is, point the finger. So I did. And I told him, I want you. You know, that's called like a fuck you, goes for fuck you. Oh, that's what I was doing. I felt like the guy said fuck you, even though he didn't say the word. That's how I felt. But I responded to him in the same manner. Not saying the word, but the action. And that's when I told Joey, he says, this is going to end real quick, Joey. Don't worry about it. So we did. We got in the middle of the mat. We went through our procedure. We bow to the elder. We bow to each other. And as soon as we finished bowing to each other, I just launched into him and knocked him right out. That was it. That was the end. We picked him up. He came back to his senses. I told him I was sorry. I wasn't really sorry. And he knew I wasn't sorry. But, I was going through the motions. I'm sorry, I'm sorry for knocking you out. Now, from there, we went to Yamamoto's student's house. He invited, because Yamamoto was somewhere in a meeting somewhere. He was going to be late. So he told them to take care of us while he was gone. So we went to his house. We had a first unbelievable dinner, Japanese dinner. Met his wife, the kids. We sat all on the floor, Japanese style, that kind of stuff. A little uncomfortable, but it was nice. It was nice. It was really nice. So after the dinner and everything, he took us to Yamamoto's house. He still wasn't home, but he had a maid. So she let us in. She was already aware that we were in town and she was going to take care of us. So she gave us a place to lay down and relax until Yamamoto came home. Now, Yamamoto, it was a guy that I knew him only through pictures, like Black Belt magazine, pictures from tournaments. To me, this guy was like a giant of a martial artist. He was well known. So I knew of this monster of a karate guy. Always seen him in a uniform. You see a cop in a uniform, you look. You see a soldier in a uniform, you look. You see the same person in street clothes. You don't, it doesn't matter because he's just like anybody else. Anyway, this guy comes in while we were laying down. I heard somebody walk in. So I said, maybe that's the guy. Yes, Yamamoto. I didn't say guy, God forbid. So when he walked into the room where we were laying down, I was surprised because here comes this guy in a suit, a tie, these glasses, very small. He looked, I hate to say, but he looked like a cartoon character. I didn't laugh because I controlled myself, but I pointed at him and actually said, "You are Yamamoto." The guy spoke English. And I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. It came out. And I don't know if he could have ripped my head off or what, but he maintained cool. He said nothing. He says, "Yes, I am Mr. Yamamoto." I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was tired, didn't expect you." I made all kinds of bullshit excuses that didn't even make sense. Matter of fact, I don't even remember what I said. But I'm sure I made some cockamamie excuses. So now, we talked a little bit. He says, "I know you're tired, go to sleep. Tomorrow is another day." I said, "Okay, fine." So we did, we went to sleep. About 3 in the morning, the maid comes in and he wakes us up. "You got to get ready, you got to go, you're going on the train." We're going on the train. "Oh, fuck, we're going on the train." "Okay, let's go." Got ready, we got our bags, half asleep over there, tired from the trip the day before. He takes us to the rapid train. This train was so fucking fast. You couldn't see anything. It was just fast, fast, fast. The whole day, I said, "Well, at least, we're moving fast." We were going to this island called Matsuyama Shikoku. But we thought we was around the corner. Fucking thing, we ended up 24 hours later, we were still traveling. Because once this rapid train got to a certain point, we got off. We got on another train. It was one of those trains that you see in the cowboy movies, Western movies. So we got on the train. That thing was like forever. Finally, when we got to the end of that stop, we thought it was over. It was not. We got to get on a ferry. I don't know for how many hours to get to this island. Finally, we get to the island. We get to the island, and there was about 10 students waiting for us with the main teacher from that particular school. And just looking at it, we didn't get off the train yet. We were looking, no, not the train, the boat, the ferry. We were looking at these guys from the ferry. Said, "Damn, we were looking at their hands. They have big knuckles. They look like they were working out, gravel, trees, doors. God knows what the hell they were hitting, but their hands were like weapon. So my friend Joey said, "Wow, man, look at those hands, man. They look like hammers." I said, "Yeah, they look like hammers, man. They've been, breaking a lot of wood and breaking a lot of bricks and fighting with a lot of trees." He goes, "Yeah, man, they look like they're gonna hurt us." I said, "Well, I don't know about hurting us, Joey. They might be hurting you, but I'm not a tree." So he started laughing. Anyway, we get in the cars, we introduce ourselves, we get in the car, we start traveling, more traveling. In the middle of going to wherever, going to the school, of course, we stopped to get something to eat. So it's wonderful, a wonderful experience. Sake, all kinds of stuff. It was awesome. But I got a little drunk. I was tired. I was confused. I was exhausted. I was thinking, what the fuck made me do this? But I was there. Finally, we get to the karate school. Beautiful. It was like an enclosed compound. Awesome. It wasn't really a monastery. I wouldn't say that, but it was really beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful place. So we figured that's where we were going to sleep. As a matter of fact, that's where we slept the first night. But before going to sleep, the teacher says, we're going to be having a class tonight. It was like 10 o'clock at night. We're having a class. They say, here it comes. They're looking to kick the shit out of me. Well, I'm going to tell them I'm drunk and I'm tired, which I did. I told him I'm drunk and tired and I have no control. So he says, "Karate man, they fight drunk, tired, they always fight." I says, "Okay." I says, "But I'm telling you straight up and down, I have no control. I might hurt somebody, I might hurt myself." The guy didn't want to hear it. He was looking to put a beating on me. So that's when Joey, again, backing me up, says, so here it comes. I said, "You know what, Joey, I had enough of you. Just sit down, get ready, because we're going to go to sleep in a little while." Again, I told him, "Look, no control. We're going to fight. Let's fight." So he threw this guy on me that he looked like he could hurt you. So we bow again, the whole routine, bow to the teacher, bow to each other. I opened up his mouth. And I said, "You see, I have no control. I'm sorry." The guy says, "No problem." They stopped the fight, went to sleep. I said, "You could have avoided all this just by going to sleep." So we did. We went to sleep. We were there for 3 months. But Tommy wasn't there yet. Tommy arrived about a week later. And that story is going to be the second part of the story.